Hello, class. This is Professor Carl Dixon at New Jersey City University. This is our fall semester. I'm teaching Sociology 245, and this semester I have a special for you. I have someone who I invited to, who I wanted to talk to you about the food insecurity in New Jersey. And I wanted to introduce you to her. Her husband will join us in just a moment. But Roei Mendez, I met not long ago. Wonderful person. I have a food pantry that I work with, but she has a network of food pantries that she partnered with. And but she's going to tell you more about it. But I'm so happy that she joined us on this class. And I'm going to ask her just to introduce herself, tell us a little bit about her organization, how it started, and a little background information about Connex for NPO. Okay, so Roei, good to have you on with us.
Hi, Bishop. How are you doing?
Fine, great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We are a charitable contribution or organization founded in April of 2020. My husband David and myself are both Westwood resident, and when we had organized Connects for NPO, we provided valued community service to those who have fallen on hard times, more specifically addressing COVID-19, the pandemic. So in a short period of time, Connects for NPO, we were able to address and respond to a critical need to source food for those who are facing food insecurities in local communities. So basically, my husband and I, we felt that it's able for us to help out the community is to not just open one food pantry, but to open an initial food pantry and then expand on opening more that are related to each other, sharing resources, and having a constant communication in order to identify what else we can do for the community. So we thought that if we had one pantry, it would be great to have 5 times more, 10 times more, not necessarily a pantry that we built, but relationship. That's the reason why we're called Connects. It's a connection for non-for-profit organization. That's what our name represents. We are a resource.
Yes.
So we are, we're not just like a food bank, but we're also a resource for all other things. So not just for food, but also for resource for medical, resource for PPE, any information relating to basic needs. So, you know, if you look at like Maslow's basic, Maslow's needs, that's pretty much what we're addressing with Connects for NPO.
Good.
Food and shelter, you know, your health, security, and then, you know, and you go all the way down to being able to give back.
Yes.
To self-actualization.
Yes.
So that's what Connects for NPO is all about.
Yes, yes. You know, thank you so much. Google, you know, we love Google. Google states that food insecurity is the state of being without reliable access to sufficient quantity, affordable, nutritious food. When when you say Westwood, that's Bergen County.
Correct.
That's suburbia. Well,
Yes.
when you say Essex County, some parts of Essex County, you say, oh, that's some areas are poor. Some areas don't have as much as they do up in Westwood. Are the needs this? Can the needs be the same? Because of this pandemic, you know, does Westwood really have issues?
Well, I can tell you, we thought that we will never get any clients from Cresco or from Alpine. And we do.
And those are rich counties. Those are,
The most richest towns in Bergen County, which was a surprise. We have people driving in their Mercedes Benz and what have you, and you see eyes looking. I'm like, what is this family doing standing in line looking for food?
yes, yes,
And the answer is they've lost their livelihood. They lost their business,
yes, yes,
and their families are in need of food.
yes,
For the very first time in their life, they are in need.
yes, indeed.
So this pandemic did not discriminate,
Yes,
did not discriminate.
yes,
We have, however, more need other parts of New Jersey.
yes,
And to be very clear, Connects for NPO started in Westwood, New Jersey, but since the beginning of time, we had always served the entire New Jersey.
wow, it's beautiful.
So it was not just about just Bergen County. We were not just doing Bergen County. We're doing New York. We did New York City,
Wow, wow,
Brooklyn, Bronx, Staten Island. We did Atlantic City. We made impossible
yes,
possible
wow,
by just talking to people and creating solutions.
yes, right,
And one of the examples that I can talk about, I think I had mentioned this to you and the first lady at one time, where we had one person in need, client of another non-for-profit. The name of the non-for-profit is JRJ Outreach. Their client is in Atlantic City. And this poor woman, she said, we have 4 food pantries, but they're all full and they're closed. And we told them we do have food, but they're 2.5 hours away from us. So I said to them, give me a moment to think. And when I got home, I was talking to my husband. I said, what are we going to do? And he said, well, we can't drive all the way down there, nor can we ask them. So my thought was, what we can do is, so I immediately pick up the phone. I asked him, are you guys willing to drive 1 hour and 25 minutes? And they said, yes. So we said to them, okay, so we're going to provide you, because they told us they have no food. How about we give you food? But we need one favor, one small favor. Would you please accept one more family in? And they said, more than happy to. So we drove 1 hour and 20, and and they also drove halfway, and we met in a Wawa.
wow,
And picked up the food from us, and they brought it back.
wow, wow, great.
Yeah. And we did that for a short period of time, because we wanted to make sure until they became self-sufficient, they were able to find help
Yes,
in
yes,
the area, because at that time it was chaos.
wow,
It was so much chaos that people were traveling from Brooklyn, standing in line
wow,
in West,
wow,
and so on, because
wow, wow. This is
the
incredible.
resources were just
That's incredible. That's incredible.
lost. Yeah.
The NewJerseySpotlight.com indicated that the pandemic in New Jersey forces 1.2 million to become food insecure. And they said the number of New Jerseyans who have uncertain access to healthy food is expected to increase by more than 50% by the end of this year. And this article was written in 2020.
Yes.
And by the end of this year, and they said because of the pandemic, bringing the total number of food insecure people to 1.2 million, or 13.5% of the population in New Jersey. That's incredible.
We started out helping 300 families. And right away, Parkside, because we were distributing at Parkside Church, right away the task force brought that into the attention of the borough, that we were out there. We're really out there searching out neighborhoods that are in need. We were making phone calls. We were not like sitting back and saying, what's the situation? We're totally watching the news, listening to people, reaching out to our friends. Which neighborhood is struggling? Who's not getting any food? So we were finding the connection for them. Not necessarily us, but it could be another government agency or another food pantry that has a resource and so forth.
Wow. What motivated you? I mean, you seeing all this happen, and I seen you in action. So what motivated you to do this? You and your husband.
My husband, he said empathy. And
Mm,
my answer is very similar.
mm,
Compassion.
mm.
Compassion. Because we've been there.
Yes.
Been there. We know what it's like to be hungry. We know what it's like to not have a roof on your shoulder or go month to month
Yes.
without, budgeting, having to sacrifice something for another.
Wow.
We've been there. We know what it's like.
Wow.
Our families, our parents,
Yes.
our neighbors, our relatives,
Yes.
and it became automatic that when this happened, the initial thought we were founded in April 2020,
Right.
and the COVID, it was like February 2020, and by March we were already distributing food
Wow. Wow.
before in our backyard.
Wow. Wow.
And the answer is, why did we do it? Because who's going to do it?
Who's gonna do it?
Are you going to wait for someone to come out and say, I'm going to do it? If you have the ability to do it and you have the will,
Right.
yes, you can.
Yes.
It is not impossible.
Yes. 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 And that's so important because we're living in a time where people are selfish. They're doing what they want to do, and they're not really concerned about everyone else. And like I said, I've seen you in action. I've seen you and your husband. I've seen the compassion that both of you have, and it's awesome. It is awesome. Your concept of food insecurity. What is that? What is your concept of food? Because we talk about food insecurity, but what is your concept of real food insecurity?
Um, well, there's one thing of having without. Yes, that's what we're facing right now. But one of the other things that we're addressing is also the quality and the quantity of food, which
Mm,
is have not yet reached that. I don't think any food pantry has yet reached that.
right.
Um, and you are absolutely right, Bishop, when you said that it continue to go up. I mean, we are now serving as many client 20 12,000 12 no not 12 yeah 12,000 12 and three zeros after,
Wow.
of which only 25% of that are connects for MPO builds. All the others are shared clients. In other words, those other pantries, we are either providing 50%, 25%, 75%, whatever the percentage is.
Wow.
So of that 12,000, we are co-donors,
Wow.
co-source for the other pantries. And all in all, we have now reached 29 food pantries, shelters, any giving organization altogether.
Yes. Yes. And we're part of that. And we're
Beautiful.
part of that.
It's a beautiful feeling because when people start understanding that this is not about bettering yourself
Mm,
or popularity contest
yes.
or getting your name out there or what have you. This is about sharing.
Yes.
It's about, I have a resource, I have extra, or I don't have enough. Who can I call to share? Who can I call to ask more or to give whatever I have more of? So it's about giving
Yes.
and also receiving.
Yes. 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 And that's the concept. If everyone had that concept, it'd be a better world, a better community, better neighborhood. It's about giving.
And I think that's how we're able to address, including your organization, our organization, when we don't have eggs, we look for your help.
Yes.
And when there's something you're looking for and we have it, and so are the other organization. And it's always been, and that's always been our way of addressing the insecurity.
Yes.
It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be a shortage, but we always find means. We have to get very, 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 very creative.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have to get very creative And again, to me, you always have to begin with compassion. And when you begin with compassion, that's when you start realizing that no is not an answer.
No, it's not an answer.
No is not an answer.
That's right. No, it's not an answer. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. I mean, you one of the questions I have coming up right here, and pretty much you've answered that. But in the next, as we move forward, as your organization moves forward, how do you see your inventory and number of networking changes? How do you see things changing at this point? Because it's your organization is growing. Do you see your staff or
It is growing. It's spiking actually. As we approach holidays, it always like you go on a steady up, and then it just you know
wow,
yep.
wow,
The amount of food that we're looking for, for example, for Thanksgiving is we did 200 last year. We're doing 250, pushing 300 this year.
wow.
That's families. We're talking about
Families.
number of Thanksgiving only.
Wow,
Thanksgiving only.
wow.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And so in that you need staff, you need volunteers. I mean that's we do a smaller operation than you. So I look at our operation and I compare it to yours. I'm like, wow, we need people to do what you're doing, and you're doing a great job. You're out there really doing the work. One of my final questions is, what are your goals for your organization in the next 2 to 5 years? What are your goals?
Our goal is to well, we're currently right now looking into expanding construction, expanding our space, bringing in more equipment, a vehicle, support staff, and we want to fine tune our fundraising. Um, because support is like that is key.
Yes.
Having the right volunteers, the right motivation, the right help, the right amount of hours that you have to put in. My husband and I, we can't do it alone. I mean, if not for the volunteers, there will be no Connect Store.
Wow.
We are standing in front of you, in front of everyone, because of the hundreds of volunteers that raise their hand and say, yes, we want to help.
Incredible.
Whether they gave food, their time, and other resources, money, etc. We are here because of them.
Yes.
Word of mouth, and anything. There is no such thing as I could only give but 1 hour, or I can only do but post something on the Facebook. All of these little things are like, if you drop a pebble in the water,
yes,
it vibrates. And when it vibrates
wow,
largely. And the impact of that one small deed,
yes,
amazing, because it reach all the way to the edge.
yes, 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 yes. And it's awesome. It's awesome to see how people with a heart like yours and your husband David, and I know he's working right now, and we want him to be here. He's already working. I know I met him. I've seen your family in action. I'm not just talking about what I read or but I've seen your family in action. And if we, for God, if we can have more people like you in our communities, it'll be so much easier. You're not waiting for somebody to hand you something. I wish I had $1 million, and I'm from the bottom of my heart. I'll say, Roei, here, you and David, do what you have to do to make this happen better. And that's the concept. That's the concept. To help.
One of the biggest things we wanted to do is to increase. We wanted to actually endeavor in doing education.
Yes.
Education in this field, specifically on this field.
Yes. Yes.
To bring more awareness.
Yes.
To get more people involved, and also create jobs.
Yes. Yes.
If possible. That's why we're fine tuning the fundraising, because you want to motivate, but at the same time, people can't just go on with zero gas. They need a little something to move on.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. Good.
So if we can create that at the same time we're helping the community, I think it's like a win-win situation.
Good, 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 great. My final question to you: Connex for NPO. What is Connex for NPO?
Connects for NPO is, like I said earlier, is we are not just about food. We are a resource
Yes.
on anything and everything. People had come to us for, I'm a senior citizen, I don't have coverage, or I'm paying too much money for my insurance. How can you help me?
Right. Right.
So we have a program. We created small programs or had partnered with other non-for-profit organizations to minimize the expense of an individual, so that they can utilize that resource for other things like buying medicine.
Right.
So if they're not paying for their premiums, if we're able to find a donor or another government program that will subsidize the payment of the premium,
Mm.
or someone who can pay for their expensive medicine, like we have one particular client, their medication is $1,000. That's one medication. They have 11 medication every month. $1,000.
Wow.
It's a lot of money and it's a brand name, so no insurance will pay for it. But what we did is we reach out to certain high net worth individual and ask funding.
Yes. Wow.
And we also approach the pharmaceutical company to partner with us if they can do 50% and 50% for the donor.
Yes.
So we would do special.
Right.
So it's by objective, and we look at people not just as number, but as by need.
Yes.
Everybody has a particular need, and you can't just put everybody on one basket and say, oh, everybody is this.
Right. Right. Right.
So Connects for NPO we address the bigger concept, and we also look at people as individuals, as families, not just oh, the whole New Jersey is hungry, or yes,
Right.
we know that.
Yes. Right.
But everybody have transportation.
Yes.
Who needs this? Who needs that? So we try to identify specific needs. Does anybody need housing assistance,
Yes.
electricity, and so forth and so on? So those are the kind of things that we're addressing.
Wow.
The
Beautiful.
Connect for NPO is connecting the community or the individuals in need to the non-for-profit or to the resource.
Good.
That's
Good.
what Connects for NPO is.
Good. Excellent. Well, Roei Mendez, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Most welcome.
This interview. I'm sure my students will be excited about what they hear your organization is doing, and I'm hoping the best for you. We're gonna still partner. We're gonna still work together.
Absolutely. I think we're doing a phenomenal job.
Yes.
I mean, your organization, our organization, we are all partners.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that that we met you.
Yes. Yes.
And we're doing this together.
Yes. Same here. Same here. Well, thank you so much, and I hope to talk to you soon. And you just have a great evening. Tell your husband I said hello.
I will. You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.